Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your listening and viewing environment. We are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, scheduling permitted, to discuss whatever topics might be important to you, whatever topics you find difficult or challenging to navigate. We are here with you in 3D, broadcasting live from the FijiWater.com sponsored studio, where you can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships. Whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind, God is concerned about that which concerns you. And that is the reason that we are here with you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, which is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock. The water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just ordinary water. This is Earth's finest water at FijiWater.com. And for those of you who continue giving on the contribution pages of our websites at NewLifeMinistriesInternational.com and NewLifeInternationalCDC.com, and those of you who use the QR code or the link provided on Facebook and YouTube, and those of you who are using Zelle at 267-992-1424, we thank all of you for your support and for your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here for you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, scheduling permitted always from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So I want to say this, there's going to be, because there's so much happening, so many amazing things happening in New Life Christian Center, there's going to be some days where we will be off the air due to scheduling. We will try to be with you as much as we possibly can Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. But I'm excited about all that God is doing, and we're going to continue to do what we do to be here for you. So whatever topics you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate, continue to send them in. We'll respond to them as the opportunity permits. And I want to remind everyone, we are still in the midst of our FijiWater.com sponsored promo, which we select one of our listeners and viewers to receive a case of Fiji water every month. Someone will receive one case of Fiji water from FijiWater.com. So our September winner, we just had an opportunity to go through. We've been so busy. We just had an opportunity to go through and tally all of the communications. What you do to be selected is at 11 a.m. or 6 p.m., go to our internet radio station, WKAPFaith.com. The first three songs you hear, you will list them along with your name and your email address, and text them to the T-Mobile caller text line at 267-992-1424. One of our listeners and viewers will be selected to receive a case of Earth's finest water from FijiWater.com. So our September winner, now we will be going through to tally the October, but our September winner is Olivia Hollander of Naples, Florida. So congratulations, Olivia. You will be receiving a case of Fiji water from FijiWater.com. I'm going to encourage all of you, the more you send in your, and that's why it took so long to tally, because you're all sending in your, the first three songs from 11 a.m. or 6 p.m. And as you do that, text them to the T-Mobile caller text line at 267-992-1424. Again, our internet radio station, WKAPFaith.com. So you know that. The first three songs you hear at 11 a.m. or 6 p.m., you know that. Text them to the T-Mobile caller text line at 267-992-1424. one of our listeners and viewers will be selected to win a case of Earth's Finest Water from FijiWater.com. And I want to encourage everyone, continue tuning in on Facebook, continue tuning in on YouTube. Tell all your family, friends, and co-workers and colleagues to tune in for the Daily Divine Direction. As you know, we have with us a monthly contributor, Rebecca Buva Turner, licensed and registered dietitian and nutritionist, who normally would be with us this week. However, Becca will not be with us for a brief period because Becca has brought her new baby into the world. So congratulations to Becca Buva Turner, who is now has a new baby girl, and we are excited for you, Becca. We look forward to you returning at your convenience because mommy and baby are doing fine, but they need a little bonding time. So we just want to congratulate Becca on the birth of baby Naomi. So I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you were in a relationship with someone who you say you loved. However, you said the relationship was not healthy for you. It came to an end. You said she only wanted to see you when it was convenient for her. And now you miss the relationship. So this is from one of my brothers out there who, when I say my brothers, one of our male viewers who was in a relationship. And here's what you got to remember. It's one thing to love someone and care for them and try to, nurture a relationship. But if the relationship was not healthy for you, the relationship coming to an end was good for you. It was good that the relationship came to an end. You might miss her. You really cared for her. You say you loved her. But someone who loves you doesn't just want to see you when it's convenient for them. They want to see you just like you want to see them. So even if you miss her now, you got to know, and you may miss her for a very long time. She may be someone that was very important to you, but you weren't important to her. You weren't important enough to her for her to make a commitment that she was going to make time for you. And this is, when I say this, for us men, that's a big step for you to admit that you loved her and you miss her. That's a big step for a man. Because sometimes we allow our ego to get in the way. We allow our, gotta be strong, can't admit that we love someone or we missed them. But you've taken the first step to healing. The fact that you acknowledge you love her. You acknowledge that you miss her. But now you've got to move on. Because that relationship wasn't good for you. The reason it wasn't good for you is because she didn't care enough about you to want as much for the relationship as you wanted. So you've got to move on. And what I mean by that, I'm saying you have to continue moving forward. And this is for everyone. If you're in a relationship and the relationship isn't as important to the other person as it is to you, sometimes you have to take your losses and count your losses and move on. Sometimes you have to say, okay, because that's not healthy. It's not healthy to be in a relationship with someone who doesn't care for you as much as you care for them. I know people have said, well, you shouldn't be in a relationship for women. This is what you're told. You shouldn't be, a man should love you more than you love him. No, that's another thing that we do to mess up the mind. You don't want to be in a relationship with someone that you love them more than they love you. You want to be in a relationship where you both love each other equally. You want to be in a relationship where the relationship is important to you as important to the other person as it is to you. That's a healthy relationship. But we've been messed up by what society has taught us that relationships are supposed to mean and what they should be. No, relationships should be just that. It should be a relationship that is important to both people. And if it's not, you need to get out. That's just the reality. Because if someone can't love you as much as you love them, if they're not willing to put in the effort to love you as much as you love them, then it's really not going to be healthy for you. Because it's going to drain your love. It's going to drain your emotion. It's going to drain you from being able to be the best version of yourself that you can become. So we really have to start looking at things differently. We really have to examine where we are. So I'm going to say this. I'm happy for you that you got out of the relationship. If it's not healthy for you, what good is it going to be? You know, it's not a good relationship. So I want to just take a moment to say this to all of our listeners and viewers. Whatever relationship you're in, whether it is dating, whether it's significant other, whether it's marriage, you both have to be in it for the same reason. You both have to be in it to love one another. You both have to be in it to empower one another. You both have to be in it to encourage one another. You both have to be in it to inspire one another. So you have to be able to love one another completely, passionately. And if you cannot do that, it's time to move on. You've got to know how important a healthy relationship is, and that's for all of us. You want to be in a healthy relationship. You want a relationship that is going to improve your health. You want a relationship that's going to keep you inspired and motivated. You want someone to love you as much as you love them. And if they can't do that, it's time to move on. Because that's not going to help you become the best version of yourself that you can possibly become. It's not going to make you be the best version of yourself that you can possibly become. So we have to be aware of these things, and we have to focus on how we can have the best relationships, not relationships that are unhealthy. And even if you miss her now, you got to know that eventually you're going to look back and you're going to say, I loved her, but it wasn't good for me. And you've pretty much done that now. So I'm happy for you that you have the opportunity to move on to someone who does desire to love you the way you're willing to love them. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will move you into our queue so that you may become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill at T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated you really want to focus on improving your health and wellness. However, you are having a problem losing weight. So let me say something. You got to know how important diet and exercise is. First of all, in enhancing your health and wellness, and secondly, in losing weight. So let me say this. If you will change your eating habits, BeccaTheDietitian.com. Becca always shares good information with us on how we have the right plate. But I will tell you this. If you eat with a focus on portion control and eliminating certain things from your diet on a consistent basis, doesn't mean you can't have them once in a while. It means you can't have them every day. like bread, for example. You can't have bread every day. So I will tell you, my physician has me on a 1 slice of bread per day plan. Now, I like bread, particularly sourdough or wheat. Or rye. I like bread. But one of the things I found that I had to do, because at my age now, I can't keep doing the same things as I'm quoting him. I can't keep doing things at this age that I was doing at, 55 and 45 and 35. Can't keep doing those same things. So, because I love bread, I had to cut bread from my diet. However, I can have a slice from time to time, or I can have some sourdough bread from time to time. I can have a wheat bun from time to time. I just can't do it every day, and I know that now. So that has helped me in the process of shedding some unwanted weight. In addition to that, my desserts, I've cut back on my desserts. I love desserts, so I would eat dessert every day after a meal, after my dinner, not lunch, but after dinner. So that was something I was doing every day, and I realized I had to cut that back. So I literally had the first dessert that I've had in 3 months this past Sunday. Primarily because the Children of Light, the children's church of New Life Christian Center, had a bake sale. So I literally had a dessert. Now, I say all of that to say, but I'm conscious of not overeating. I'm conscious of making certain that I don't continue to eat desserts on a daily basis. So you have to be intentional. This is going to take me into another communication, because you have to be intentional. So it's not just about exercise, it's about diet and exercise. Because I was exercising because I'm a runner. I was exercising, but I wasn't burning off as many calories as I was taking in, because I was eating desserts and I was eating a full meal and I was eating bread. And so you've got to decide what's important to you. So I decided what was important to me was, I've got to make some cutbacks, because I'm well into my 60s. So I can't, I can't keep doing the same things and expect that when I get to 70, there isn't going to be some impact on my health. So I had to make some changes. All you have to do, and that was the other thing, portion control. So I love a good meal. And if I enjoy a good meal, I'm going to eat as much as I want. And that was the old me. So that might mean going back for a second helping. Now I'm one helping and one plate, and then I will move on to the next meal. So if I have a plate at lunch, I'm not going to have a second plate at lunch. I'm going to wait and have dinner. You have to be intentional. That's going to help you in that weight loss process. Just changing up some things, literally, in these last 4 months, I've been able to shed weight. I've been able to shed some unwanted weight, and part of it is because I'm preparing to run a race in November. So I shedded some unwanted weight. There's a few other things I need to do to get ready and prepare because the race is literally a couple weeks away. But I'm saying all of that to say it's diet and exercise. You've got to decide what you can eat and what you shouldn't eat. You've got to decide how much you're going to eat and how much you're not going to eat. And then you have to eliminate some other things from your diet. And if you do that, you're going to find that you will not only lose the weight, but you'll be able to maintain it. So I'm now at my maintaining phase because I've lost all of the unwanted weight that I want to lose. I've lost it all. And now, because of my age, I'm going to just focus on maintaining. That's all I'm going to focus on now, is just maintaining my weight. This is where I'm going to be. And then I'll work on some other things like, increasing my protein intake, I'm already doing that, but I'm going to amp that up a little further. Increasing my workout routine. I'm going to do some additional things. Diet and exercise. That's going to make certain that we get to the place, that'll ensure that we get to the place that we want to go. So I'm going to encourage you to focus on portion control. That's part of your diet. Changing some eating habits, that's part of your diet. And then, in addition to that, exercise. That's going to give you the opportunity to reduce whatever weight you want to reduce and to make some changes in your health and wellness. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Charles Tyrwhitt, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. So if you're in any of those areas, stop in at the retail stores. They have everything a man could possibly need: shirts for men, ties for men, suits for men, and accessories. I'm in Charles Tyrwhitt attire today. If you're not in any of those areas, you can order from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. They will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. And if you order shirts from Charles Tyrwhitt, right now you will receive 3 high-quality cotton shirts from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. 3 high-quality cotton shirts for $99. That's a $228 savings on 3 shirts from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. And this segment is also brought to you by The White Company, located in London, the UK. They also have a store on Fifth Avenue in New York. So if you're in New York, stop in at their retail store. They have everything you could possibly need: home goods, clothing for men, women, and children. And if you're not in New York, you can order from The White Company at thewhitecompany.com. They too will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. Okay, so I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you struggle with self-discipline. You said, you want to know, is there a method to become more self-disciplined? And I will tell you, there is a method to being self-disciplined. Part of it is being intentional about everything, not just some things, but about everything. Being intentional means that you are monitoring your behavior consistently. You are focused on what needs to be done, what must be done, and you work to accomplish that. Now, it's going to require you to make some changes in your behavior. You can't do what everyone else desires to do. You can't do what everyone else is going to do. You cannot, if you're going to have self-discipline, you can never follow the herd. If you're going to have self-discipline, you can never make the decision that you're going to do what everybody else is doing. Everyone else is traveling, you're going to travel. That's not self-discipline. You have to be disciplined to say, these are the things I want to accomplish both personally and professionally, and I'm going to work to that end. I'm going to work to accomplish just that. I'm not going to do anything that is going to take me off of what I'm working to accomplish. I'm not going to, and this is going to take me into the next communication. I'm not going to allow distractions to become a factor in my life. I'm going to really focus on being intentional about every aspect of my life. So, you've got to set the parameters. You have to set what time you're going to get up in the morning. You're going to have to set what time you're going to go to bed throughout at the end of the day. You have to set disciplines on what you're going to do every hour of every day. You have to decide that. And then you have to be intentional about accomplishing that. So let me kind of walk you through this. I went to two of the schools where we have our Achievers Academy. I went to two of those schools today. I knew that I was going to wake up at 5:30 this morning. I was going to have my morning meditation and my morning prayer because I was going to go to one of the schools at 7:30. So I have to be intentional about every hour of every day. And if you're going to have self-discipline, that's what you have to do. You have to be intentional about every hour. You have to set the parameters, the guide for what you're going to do to ensure that you develop the method for self-discipline. It's your method. You have to determine a methodology for that. How can I accomplish that? So in addition to that, then when I was done there, I had to come and prepare for the broadcast. My preparation for that is scheduled for 1 hour. My preparation for production is scheduled for 1 hour. That's what I mean when I say every hour of every day you have to be intentional about everything. So when I'm done with the broadcast, I have lunch scheduled. I'm going to eat my lunch. I'm going to have lunch. And then, so the broadcast concludes at 1 o'clock, post-production by 1:30, I'm going to have my lunch. And then I'm going to do the next thing that's on my calendar. The one thing you don't want to do is vary from the calendar just because. If you're going to have self-discipline, you can't allow distractions. Now, are there things that may occur that you have to address? Yes, but that doesn't disrupt your self-discipline. It just means you address them and you get right back on to your itinerary for the day. You get right back on to your agenda for the day. You have to follow that until the end. You can't allow distractions to disrupt your discipline. You just have to remain disciplined. There's 3 D's to this: decision, distractions, and discipline. You have to be willing to make a decision that distractions are not going to become part of your agenda for the day. You have an agenda, or you should have an agenda set. We all should have an agenda for the day. What is it that, and you have to prioritize them. What are my priorities for the day? And you have to work those throughout the day. Sure, there may be some carryover tomorrow, but you have to work the agenda. Listen, plan your work, work your plan. That's what we do. You have to, if you're going to have self-discipline, that's what it has to be. It can't be, I get a phone call and someone suggests that I do something and everything goes to the wayside. Everything's put aside to do that because it's going to feel good to me for the moment. I'm going to have some fun. It's cold here today, so I'm not going to play golf, but I use that as an example. Someone can't call me and say, let's go play golf this afternoon, when I know I have a calendar full of things that need to be done to continue moving forward successfully. You can't do that. You have to be disciplined. You have to be intentional about everything. And you have to always constantly remind yourself that how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you're intentional about everything, that's how you do it. And you will find that you'll begin to be more disciplined, have more discipline, and maximize your success. Today's Daily Divine Direction Broadcast 3D has been brought to you by Fiji Water. A taste of paradise will be delivered right to your front door